Good morning. This is Steve from Steve's Locksmith Shop, and I thought I'd do a video on what is a key code. This is more for someone that just doesn't know what a key code is. So, anyways, I'm here in the locksmith shop. Take a little look. Okay, what a key code is, I'm going to go down to the paper here. Let's see here. What a key code is a series of numbers and letters that a manufacturer of a lock would use to determine the cuts of the key. So I do sell keys occasionally on eBay and stuff if I get a lot, at least automotive keys. And people say, will you cut the key for me? And I'll say, well, if you could give me the key code, I could cut the key. And they tend to give me the VIN number. They don't really understand what a key code is. So I thought I'd do a little video on what a key code is. So the manufacturer assigns a series of numbers and letters. It might be like S135, or it could be like 8564P, and that refers to the cut on the key. Okay. You can cross-reference the VIN number of a vehicle to get the key code, but the VIN number doesn't give us the key code. Being a locksmith, I'm able to go through the manufacturer a lot of times and get the key code from the VIN number, but the manufacturers charge us. There's a charge behind getting that key code. Either you're paying for a service or you're paying per one-shot deal. Okay. There's other ways locksmiths use to get the cuts of the key besides the key codes. But basically the way it works is once we get the key code, go here to my software. Once we get the got some junk here. Move this up out of the way. Close this out. So this is my code software. And basically we'd come up here and we'd tell it the code that we got. Let's just make one up. And this is not just for cars. This could be file cabinets or anything. There's key codes for everything. So let's just type in like S100, which is like a steel case file cabinet one from the top of my head. We'll go to utility lock. Here you'd pick what kind of vehicle it is. You go to utility lock. Actually, let's do a car lock. I did one the other day, if I can remember it right. It was for a 1966 Cadillac, which was 1V59. Okay, and we're gonna go to automotive, all vehicles. Okay, search. Okay, we're gonna go down to, let's see here, 1966, 67, and 69 GMCC. All these manufacturers, and we could scroll down, use that same key code. So you kind of got to decipher what it is. Now this is the car I worked on yesterday. And view data. Okay, so there's the key code for that car. And it tells us the key blank. It tells us the cuts and how to cut it. And the way we cut this is we would turn on our code machine, which is down here. And it always wants you to calibrate it when you first turn it on. So you turn it to the left. Okay, now it's calibrated. And all we do is we move the cursor up here and we just say cut key. Okay. And then you go down here and look at the machine. It sent the cuts to the machine. And then it's through this RS-232 cable. Now this machine is only used to cut keys by code. So a lot of locksmiths, because you might be shocked when you go in and a locksmith tells you $45 to cut a key by code when a regular key is costing you like $3. Well, the reason why is because they got this big investment in this machine that only cuts keys by code. And it takes years and years to actually pay one of these machines off. When you're cutting keys by code. So there's a big investment in the locksmith. Plus you have to update the software to stay updated on codes. So there's an expense behind having a code machine. And we have more than one code machine. So this is where I do most of my automotive code machines or automotive cutting. But so we have several code machines that we operate to cut keys by code. And they actually run off of this tablet here, or we can manually punch in the codes, but all these machines will run off of this one tablet. But Yeah, anyways. So that's why there's an expense behind it. Anyways, hopefully I answered that. You know, what is a key by code? And the other thing is when you used to buy cars, they would give you a little metal punch out, okay? So when you bought a car, let me see if I have one, like for old GM or something. I don't know if they're punched out. Like these are GM blanks here. Oh, that one's punched out. Let's see if they're all punched out. Let's see if I got something that aren't punched. Those are punched. I don't know if I have any that have the knockouts in them still. Well, anyways, on the GM keys, sorry, I was going to show you this knockout, but see that little knockout there? Back in the old days, the key codes would be stamped on this knockout, and the dealers would have one of these little punch things like this. And they'd lay this key right in there. Oh, there's a knockout. Perfect. Okay. Okay. So they would punch it up. Basically, they'd put this GM key in there, and then they'd pull this lever down, and it would punch out this knockout. If you see that little knockout. And the key codes were located on that knockout. And they would give you these. There'd be two of them because you get two keys with the car. You get this little knockout tag with the keys of the car. Okay? And it was your key code only to your car. And then back in the 90s, when they got rid of these knockouts, they would give you a little metal tag, okay? Aluminum tag that would have the key codes on it. And then in the early 2000s, you would get a little plastic barcode with the key codes. And then around 2002 to 2003, they stopped giving the key codes because they came up with computer chip keys, and they figured, well, we're the only ones who could cut them, so why would we even give them key codes? So you get computer chip keys like these, and you wouldn't even get the key codes. But technically, the key codes are still yours, and they're unique to your car. And if you go to the dealer and present your registration and title, they're required by law to give you the key codes. So, and a lot of times dealers they want you to come to them to get the codes. So, you know, they're kind of act stupid about it. But if you go to normally it's the parts department, and you give them your registration and say, hey, I need to get the key codes for my car. You don't have to tell them why. You don't have to tell them you're going to a locksmith to get the key cut. And they're required to give them to you. If they don't, you could actually sue the dealership. I mean, I don't know who would actually go through all that. But anyways, but they are your key codes. So that is why it's more expensive to cut a key by code than a regular key, because you have key machines that cost excess, some of them excess $10,000, $12,000, $13,000 a key machine, where your regular key you're cutting is a $2,000 to $3,000 key machine. You know, and then if you go to a hardware store, like this is an old one, but the old hardware store machine, that's like a $500-$600 machine. You know, so that's why hardware stores they don't mind cutting a key for $2 or $3. And if they make a mistake or the machine's not accurate, they'll just cut you another one because the key costs them 30, 40 cents. The machine wasn't expensive. They have not a big money into it. Back a long time ago when I was a kid and we worked at a hardware store, the hardware store would get a rack like this. Okay, that's an Ilco rack. And they'd have their little key machine under here. And a lot of people don't know this, but the key companies, you'd have Cole was a key company and Taylor. Well, you'd have a key salesman, and he would come in and he would do the count of all the keys on here that were missing, and he would give you the bill, and he'd make sure your rack got filled up. But he would also, any miscut keys or keys that were not cut correctly, he would give you a credit for them. So even if you cut keys wrong at a hardware store, the hardware store never lost money because they would give you credit. And the other thing is the key machine and key racks and all the keys, the hardware store never had to pay for. It wasn't their product. They would only pay for what was used off the rack. So it was kind of like this little niche that now hardware stores I think is different now, but this is back in like 1988, 87, 86 when I was in high school, and I worked at a hardware store, and that's how they did it back then. I don't know how they do it now. But anyways, this is Steve from Steve's Locksmith Shop signing off.